What was it like to revisit that role when they did the video game in like 2000? I think it was 2004, 2003.
Yeah.
Like it was 2003. After so many years of the role being in the past, and all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, we're making something new, and we want you to come back."
Well, luckily my voice hasn't changed, but the funny thing about that video game, Minmay just had a cameo part, but then they had me come in and do Izzy Randall. So my voice is very distinct, It's like everybody knows it's me. It's very hard for me to just kind of do another part without anybody knowing, well, that's Minmay's voice.
Yeah.
So I think people knew that.
What do you think these conventions do for this industry? Like, what's your thought on the whole convention process and seeing all the costumes and...
Oh, it's all, well, ever since my first convention, it's just been like this amazing thing, like, oh, this is crazy. This is kind of not crazy, but it's just like this whole other world, and I think it's really fun. It's very creative, especially the cosplay and the costumes. I mean, they're just outrageous. I was telling somebody else that when I first did my first convention, it was in New York. No, Comic-Con. It was Comic-Con, and then I did a couple other ones. But at the time, people would dress up for Star Trek conventions and stuff, but at the time, not that many people were dressing up, so they dressed me up. So I had a costume, which is funny. But now, all of a sudden, it's the opposite, that everybody else is dressed up. But I think it's fun.
Now, do you think these conventions are doing a positive thing? Like, as far as the industry is concerned, like, is it leading towards the right direction to hopefully stop piracy?
Yeah.
From becoming, or do you see a gathering of people who are also at the same time like, hey, here's this,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know how to answer that. I think as long as people are enjoying it, the more they have conventions, the more they're going to like anime and buy it and everything. So I think it's good, bring them on. And we have fun going to them. I mean, this one is fabulous. Because I've been to several other ones, and they've all been really nice and fun, but this one is just so well run. And they just make it so easy for the guests, and, we feel like we're being treated like royalty, which is fun. And then we go back to our normal life, and we're just like, okay, we're just normal again.
Now, is there anything in particular in your mind that has made this convention at Non-DeskCon stand out above Comic-Con or any anime expo you've been to, or New York Anime Expo?
Oh, it's just the organization of it, they had everything in place. Like, I came into my room, they had this little folder, they had everything, everywhere I was supposed to be, and so far everything's been flawless.
Is this your first time at NDK?
Yeah, I just did one last weekend in Sacramento, and, I've been to various ones. I guess there's certain people that are on the convention circuit. I've never been on the convention circuit, but, if somebody invites me, I love to go on a trip. So, like if anybody has a convention in London, or, Australia, or anywhere exciting like that, I'm ready to go.
Cool. Now, have you ever done, like, I know you did some of the recording with the Minmay stuff for the show. Have you ever performed any stuff like that for concerts at conventions before? Or?
Yeah, well, the first one I think was RoboCon 10. It was the 10th anniversary of Robotech. They actually they had me put on a big concert with Opio Manucci, and he was playing the piano.
Oh, wow.
And see, the way that we do this stuff, we have a script in front of us, and that's the only time we've ever done it. So I always forget all the words. It's not like something I do every day, so I don't even remember the songs I sang sometimes. Well, I do. I do. But I'm also, I'm not like somebody that goes out, and I'm not doing musicals and things all the time. So I have to kind of get the voice going. And I was at this one convention in Columbus, Ohio, and they wanted me to get up and sing everything a cappella. And I was like, oh, God, I had a hard enough time staying on key with the music, but let alone a cappella. It was kind of funny. I sort of felt like, okay, I wish I hadn't have done that one.
Now, what was the preparation like? Like working, because that was a Japanese composer who was playing with you for the
No,
show.
he's Italian.
Oh, is he Italian?
Yeah, he's actually like an Emmy-winning composer. He did more like Broadway. It wasn't exactly what I'd expected. I thought it was going to be more rock, kind of pop type, but it was like singing Broadway tunes. Because I mean, they were difficult. They weren't just these easy things like, you know, a pop singer would sing and they've got all these tracks and everything to make them sound good. It was some heavy singing.
And what's it like to do video game voice work over anime? What's the difference between the two if you're gonna?
The pay.
Okay.
Which is
Positive or negative?
Video games rock. They really do. I wish my voice was more conducive to them because, you know, they're mainly guys and maybe like some really heavy duty females, but not a lot of really cute little voices so much. So, you know, there have been a few that I've done, but, you know, I would love to do more of those.
Now, what's your favorite video game probably voice work that you've done, would you say?
I think the Robotech Battle Cry, because I knew that character more. It was more like I could kind of follow the story, whereas the other ones I really didn't know what it was doing. My son did. I just tested out on him. Here, try this video game. See what I can't even play a video game, so.
And then you also did like a bunch of small voices like the Tachikomas and Ghost in Shell's a big one that stands out. And those are very kind of like goofy, fun-loving characters like that feel like you're of a younger age. What's it like to play something just that energetic? Is it really harder on your voice or harder personality-wise to get into that, or are you just always like very bouncy anyways?
No, I think that's pretty normal for me, doing the bouncy stuff. The stuff that's not normal for me is doing the really heavy-duty stuff, like When They Cry, that, you know, Gatekeepers, those were all and Metropolis, those are all kind of things where I really had to work harder. It was much harder. Had a different voice. I get cast in my own voice a lot, so I don't really have to do anything to it other than scream and, you know, get killed or giggle a lot. I just did a part for a little show called The Mr. Men Show. And played Miss Giggles. And just every line, it was just like, you know, it was giggling my head off, which is hard when you're over 50 because, you know, you got to keep your legs together and and we just had these big fires in where I live, and the smoke had just like totally gotten into my lungs. So every time I'd laugh, it would be like I'd giggle and it was terrible.
Well, I only have really one last question for you, and it's: have you had any horror stories from this industry before that, like you're like, wow, that kind of thing, or man, but then you got over it?
Well, sometimes some of the projects are a little bit like you're going like, why did I do this? Because, well, some of them are pretty
Sketch?
risque.
Okay.
There was one company that I used to do all these really cute little commercials for, like Knott's Berry Farm, Disneyland, you know, all the just regular commercials, and for some reason they decided that they were going to start doing anime, and they had no idea how to do it. It was just like the worst writing and the worst directing because they'd never done it before. But it was all this, you know, stuff that we don't want to mention. And there, at a certain point, I just went like, you know, I can't do this. I have 2 kids, and it's not something I really want to do.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's